When you reach your 60s, 70s, or beyond, aging doesn't always announce itself with a loud knock. Sometimes it whispers. It tiptoes into your life with subtle signs that many men ignore. But as a doctor who has spent decades sitting beside older men and hearing their stories, I can tell you this. Those whispers are trying to tell you something important, and ignoring them is like turning away from your own reflection in the mirror. Today I want to share 4 signs of aging in older men that are so subtle, so easy to dismiss, yet so revealing. They tell the truth of your age, not just in numbers but in health. One of them is about your smell. 2 are big and 1 is small, but together they form a quiet alarm bell. And I ask you honestly, how many of these signs do you have? Let us begin with the one that surprises most men. It is the change in your body odor. Yes, the way you smell. I know it sounds unusual, but this is real science. Researchers in a 2012 study published in the journal PLOS ONE discovered that as men age, their body odor undergoes subtle but detectable changes. It is not just about hygiene. This is a biological shift caused by the breakdown of certain chemicals in your skin called lipid acids. As you age, these acids transform into compounds like tunonenal. This particular compound produces a distinct, musty, greasy odor. What's remarkable is that it doesn't necessarily mean you've neglected cleanliness. Even the cleanest of men can begin to emit this scent as the skin's biochemistry changes with age. And although it may be subtle, people around you may pick up on it before you do. This change in smell is nature's quiet signature of the passage of time. If you've noticed your partner leaning away more often during a hug, or if your shirts need more frequent washing under the arms, don't shrug it off. It might not be cologne you need. It might be your body asking for attention. Hydration, diet, certain soaps with low pH levels, and even detoxification through leafy greens can help minimize this effect. But the key here is awareness, because it tells us the inner machinery is shifting. Now let us talk about the first big sign, the loss of muscle mass and strength. You might think it's just part of getting older. You bend down to pick something up and it takes more effort. The dumbbells you used to curl with pride now feel heavier. But this is not just about vanity or strength. This is sarcopenia. It is the medical term for age-related muscle loss. And it starts earlier than most men think. Studies show that after the age of 50, men can lose up to 1% of their muscle mass each year if they are not actively working against it. That means by the time you're 70, you may have lost 20% of your muscle strength. This is not a small change, it's a big one. And it matters because muscle mass is directly linked to longevity. The more muscle you retain, the better your balance, your mobility, your insulin sensitivity, and your overall survival. A study published in the American Journal of Medicine found that muscle mass is a better predictor of longevity in older adults than body mass index. Muscle is not just for athletes, it is for survival. And yet many older men see the softness creeping into their arms and around their waist and say nothing. They let it go. But you cannot afford to let it go. Resistance training, protein intake, movement every single day. These are your defenses. Your body's not giving up. It is asking you to fight for it. The second big sign is one that most men avoid talking about. It is cognitive fog. You forget where you left your keys. You walk into a room and can't remember why. You struggle to recall names that once rolled off your tongue. Now let me be clear. Occasional forgetfulness happens to everyone. But when you start to notice it happening more often, and when you begin to feel like your thoughts are not as sharp as they used to be, it may be the beginning of something deeper. Studies from the National Institute on Aging show that cognitive decline can begin decades before it becomes noticeable. It starts with small slips, a slower response time, a name on the tip of your tongue, a forgotten task. This slow decline is not just about memory. It affects your decision-making, your confidence, and even your mood. And here's the critical part. Brain health is deeply tied to physical health. Poor sleep, chronic inflammation, lack of movement, and even dehydration can cloud the brain. Your brain is a living organ. It needs oxygen, blood flow, nutrients, and stimulation. When it doesn't get those things, it slows down. One study from Harvard Medical School showed that walking just 20 minutes a day reduces the risk of cognitive decline by over 30%. That is not a miracle. That is science, and it is within your control. Feed your brain with whole foods, social interaction, learning, and movement. And do not be ashamed to speak up if you feel mentally foggy. It is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign to act. And now we come to the small sign. But do not let its size fool you. This one is subtle, yet incredibly telling. It is the change in your handwriting. You heard that right. Your handwriting. The way you hold a pen, the way your letters form. This is a small change that reflects a deeper truth. So neurologists have long known that changes in fine motor skills can be an early indicator of neurological aging. A study published in the Lancet Neurology Journal showed that deterioration in motor control, especially handwriting, can precede the diagnosis of Parkinson's and other age-related neurological conditions by years. Have you noticed your handwriting becoming shakier or smaller? Do the loops of your letters feel tighter, more cramped? This is called micrographia. It often starts without pain, without awareness. But it is your nervous system giving a signal. The brain's communication with your fingers is not as smooth as before. Even slight tremors or changes in spacing and pressure can be clues. This does not mean something terrible is certain, but it is a sign that should not be dismissed. It is a call to keep your brain-body connection strong. Practice writing, do hand exercises, play piano or do puzzles. All these help stimulate fine motor control. Do not ignore the small signs. They often speak the loudest truths. So let us take a step back. Smell, muscle loss, mental sharpness, handwriting. These four signs, each seemingly ordinary, reveal the true story of your aging body. They are not warnings to frighten you. They are invitations to pay attention. Because here is the truth that I have seen in practice again and again. The men who age well are not the ones with perfect genes or who live without pain. They are the ones who listen, who adapt, who respond. The smell you carry, the strength you lose, the sharpness you protect, the way you write your name. These are not just symptoms, they are signals. And if you learn to read them, you gain something far greater than youth. You gain control. And with that control comes dignity, comes clarity, comes vitality. Now you may ask yourself, how many of these signs do I have? 1, 2, maybe all 4. But that is not a reason to despair. That is your starting point. If your smell has changed, look to your gut health, hydration, and skincare. If your muscles have weakened, begin strength training, no matter your age. If your mind feels slower, turn to sleep, nutrition, and learning new things. And if your handwriting has changed, use that as a cue to connect with your nervous system. The beautiful thing about the human body is that it never stops responding. Even at 70, even at 80, even beyond. The problem is not aging. The problem is ignoring aging. Your body is not failing. It is communicating. And as your doctor, I tell you with my whole heart, listen to it, respect it, respond to it. You may not be able to turn back time, but you can walk forward with strength, clarity, and grace. And that is the true victory in aging well. So I ask you once more, 1 smell, 2 big signs, 1 small. How many do you have? Not to shame you, but to awaken you, because awareness is the first step toward renewal, and it is never, ever too late to begin. How does your diet affect these 4 aging signals? When we talk about aging, most people immediately think of wrinkles or gray hair, but those are just the surface. The deeper signs, the ones that truly reflect how well your body's holding up with time, are much quieter. As we spoke about earlier, those signs include changes in smell, muscle loss, cognitive decline, and even something as simple as handwriting. These might seem unrelated at first, but there's one thread that weaves them all together more than anything else. That thread is your diet. What you eat every single day does not just fill your stomach. It shapes how your body and mind respond to aging. And as a doctor who has walked beside many men through the decades of their lives, I can tell you with full confidence, diet is not just fuel, it is medicine. Or, if neglected, it becomes poison. Let's begin with the change in smell that many older men experience. This isn't something often discussed, but the truth is, Your scent begins to change as your body's chemistry changes with age. This change is largely driven by an increase in a compound called 2-nonenal. It forms when fatty acids in your skin oxidize. What fuels that oxidation? Poor diet, specifically a diet high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats. These create inflammation and free radicals in the body. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Biochemistry and Nutrition showed that diets high in antioxidants like vitamin E, vitamin C, and polyphenols can reduce oxidative stress significantly. That means the right foods can help prevent that musty, greasy body odor that often develops with age. Leafy greens like spinach and kale, brightly colored fruits like berries, and nuts like almonds can neutralize the free radicals responsible for these changes. Drinking plenty of water and reducing red meat and fried foods can also help your liver and skin detoxify more efficiently, reducing the smell that often signals aging skin. Now think about muscle loss. You might feel it when you try to lift your grocery bags or walk up a flight of stairs that once felt easy. This isn't just about getting older. It's about what your muscles are being fed. After the age of 50, the body becomes less efficient at using protein to build and repair muscle. That's called anabolic resistance. But here's the key: you can fight it. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that older adults who consume at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal are better able to maintain and even regain muscle mass. Foods like eggs, fish, lean meats, tofu, and legumes are excellent sources. But it's not just about protein. You also need vitamin D, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids. A groundbreaking study from the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle found that omega-3 supplementation improved muscle protein synthesis in older adults. That means foods like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds can be powerful allies in protecting your strength. On the flip side, a diet high in refined carbs and sugary drinks leads to fat accumulation and insulin resistance. And both of those make it harder to maintain muscle. So every meal is a choice, a step towards strength or a slow surrender to weakness. Then comes the brain, your ability to think clearly, to remember faces and names, to make decisions. These are not guaranteed as you age, but they are protectable. The brain is an organ that consumes about 20% of your daily energy. That energy comes from what you eat. The Mediterranean diet, rich in vegetables, fruits, fish, nuts, and olive oil, has been repeatedly shown to protect against cognitive decline. A study from the New England Journal of Medicine found that older adults who followed a Mediterranean diet had a 30 to 40% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. This is not a minor difference. This is profound. Your brain thrives on healthy fats like DHA found in fatty fish. It depends on stable blood sugar levels, which you get by avoiding white bread, sugary snacks, and soda. High blood sugar has been directly linked to a faster rate of cognitive decline in studies from the Mayo Clinic. Even hydration plays a role. Mild dehydration, which many older adults experience, can impair attention and memory. So when your mind feels foggy, before blaming age, ask yourself, what did I eat today? Did I have enough water? Did I feed my brain the nutrients it needs to stay sharp? And now let us come to that small sign. The handwriting. It might seem insignificant, but it's a window into your brain's control over your muscles. That delicate communication between your fingers and your mind is easily disrupted by poor nutrition. For example, vitamin B12 is critical for nerve health. As we age, our bodies absorb less of it from food. A deficiency in B12 can lead to numbness in the hands, tingling, poor coordination, and yes, changes in handwriting. A study published in Neurology showed that B12 deficiency in older adults is strongly linked to smaller brain volume and problems with motor skills. So if your letters are looking cramped, if you feel more effort in writing, it may be a sign that your nerves are not getting what they need. Foods like eggs, fish, meat, and dairy are rich in B12. If you're vegetarian or if your digestion has weakened with age, you may need supplementation. Other nutrients that affect fine motor skills include folate, vitamin E, and healthy fats. These support not just the nerves, but also the small muscles of the hands. So yes, something as small as how you write your name can be shaped by what you put on your plate. When you look at all four of these signs together, the message becomes clear. Your body does not age randomly. It ages according to how it is cared for. And food is care. Every bite is a message, telling your muscles whether to grow or shrink, telling your brain whether to stay alert or slow down, telling your skin whether to protect or to oxidize, telling your nerves whether to stay connected or to fade. There is no perfect diet, but there is a powerful truth. Whole foods heal, processed foods harm. Fresh, colorful, and balanced meals do not just support your organs, they support your dignity. They help you stay independent. They help you live not just longer, but better. So when we talk about aging, let us not begin with pills or surgeries or panic. Let us begin with what is on your fork. That's where your power lies. You do not need to change everything overnight. Begin with 1 glass of water in the morning, 1 extra serving of vegetables, 1 less can of soda, 1 thoughtful meal at a time. These choices stack up. They become strength. They become clarity. They become control. As your doctor, I am not here to scold or shame. I am here to remind you that your body is listening, and it responds to love. And food, when chosen wisely, is one of the purest forms of love you can give yourself. Feed yourself with purpose, and watch how those 4 quiet signs of aging begin to soften. Because aging is not defeat, it is a dialogue. And you still have so much say in how the rest of that story unfolds.